Howdy folk, old ridge runner. Love to climb mountains, love being in the woods. It's a mighty special place. Today, I'm going to be walking amongst giants. I'm in far western North Carolina today. I'm in the Slip Rock Wilderness area. I'm in a little old range called the Unicoi Range, the Unicoi Mountains. Beautiful back in here. I am in Joyce Kilmer Memorial Forest. It is a virgin forest. It's old growth, and it's never been touched by a lumberjack. Never a logger stepped foot in here. Looked at it, I'm sure. Through some efforts of some mighty fine folks a long time ago, we avoided that. Around the turn of the 20th century, America was a young nation, and it was a growing, and there was a big demand for wood products. Private individuals came in and they bought up these forest lands, these mountain slopes, and Appalachia out west. They cleared entire forest, and it did take 2 or 3 generations for forest just to disappear. So some mighty concerned folk in the 20th century, right at the turn of it, right after, they went to the government. Told them, you know, we need to do something about this, and this is before there ever was such thing as environmentalists. So the government did get involved, and they created what's today known as the United States Forest Service. And the Forest Service went to work. And in 1934, they came to the far reaches of western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee and started bargaining with these individuals and these private groups and bought them up in 1934. For this, where I'm standing now, for 13,055 acres, they give $28 an acre. Well, back in 1934, land was going for about $4 an acre. That's how important it was to buy this and preserve this national treasure we know today as Joyce Kilmer Memorial Forest. There's another natural preserve over in eastern Tennessee, over the mountains from here out here, about 100,000 acres. And the United States Forest Service bought it up, bought land around it, and today it is a national treasure known as the Great Smoky Mountains, borders North Carolina and Tennessee. When the first European settlers stepped off the boats, stepped foot on this land, this is what they would have seen. Tommy and Rachel of Oreo Speedwagon was back here with me in the spring. And I told Tommy when he crossed that bridge coming in here, I said, it's like stepping back into the 1700s, and it is true. This has never been touched. It is what you would have seen as an early settler. They were able to preserve giants just like this I'm standing in front of. This is a tulip poplar, big tree. This particular rascal right here behind me is probably about 23, 24 foot around. I'm going to say he's topping off 150, 180, every bit of it. Easing along by a little Santilla Creek right here. It's off over to the right of me. Creek will come across the bridge. A lot of bloodroot. The forest floor is beautiful in here. I'm heading up to a big grove up the mountain here a little ways. A lot of beautiful ferns and goldenrods are blooming, and boy, I'm telling you, it'll make you sneeze in the fall, make deer sneeze. Big red oak right there. Boy, it's a big tree. Man, show y'all some sure enough giants here later. A lot of bloodroot, a lot of snakebane on the forest floor through here. Got a pretty good story I want to share with you today about this forest. Well, in December 1886, Alfred Joyce Kilmer, that was his birth name, namesake of this forest, was born to Frederick and Annie Kilmer in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Joyce had 3 siblings who all died later on from a fever. As far as I know, that's what it was. I'm not too sure. They left him as the only child. He was the youngest of those siblings. His mom and daddy just cherished him, and they just extra special loved him. Well, Joyce grew up under the shadow of his daddy's job, and in 1886, Johnson & Johnson was founded the same year Joyce Kilmer was born. And his daddy went to work 3 years later, and he was the scientific director for Johnson & Johnson. He helped come up with Band-Aids and gauzes and glues to hold them together and odds, ends, and what all. And he was their scientific director, and he wrote a lot and dictated a lot, from what I understand, and give lectures and on the scientific end of it, all that scientific stuff. And Joyce under his wing right there. And he inherited that writing ability from his parents. His mother was a writer too, from what I understand. Well, Joyce, when he got out of school, he was a high school teacher. He was a literary high school teacher. He was an editor. He helped write a dictionary. It wasn't Webster's, but it was a dictionary of some kind or another. Needless to say, Joyce, he had a lot of arms in the fire. In 1908, Joyce Kilmer married Aline. I don't remember her maiden name, but it was Aline. They had 5 kids. Joyce did editing jobs, and in 1913 started writing poetry and published a poem entitled Trees. One of his most famous poems. Matter of fact, I believe it is his most famous poem. And that's how they came the namesake of this forest for him, is for his love of the outdoors. Anyway, he had a daughter. They had 5 kids, him and Aline did, and I don't remember the medical term for what it was, but anyway, he had a daughter that passed away at 5 years old. In 1917, he joined the New York National Guard. There, a lot of times they would not accept men with family, but they accepted him, and a year later, in 1918, he put in for active duty, got transferred over to France. And he was with the 165th Rainbow Division. He was very intelligent. People liked him, they looked up to him. He was very intelligent. And in just a few short months, Mr. Kilmer, he made sergeant. Well, what he did, he ran ahead of the 165th, and he gathered up intelligence from the enemy lines. He scouted ahead of them. July 30th, 1918. I don't remember the place they were in France. I couldn't pronounce that daggone word anyway. And he ran ahead of them, and in running ahead of them, he was shot by a German sniper. July 30th, 1918. Killed instantly. They found him later when they caught up to him. He's buried over there in France. And back home, in the years to come, his mom tried to keep his memory alive. And in 1934, when all this forest land, going back to the beginning of the forest, how it came to be. In 1934, the New York chapter, Veterans of Foreign Affairs, got wind of his mom and the price that Joyce had paid. So they approached the government about Joyce Kilmer, about naming a forest, a stand of forest, in his honor and his memory for his poem Trees and his love of the outdoors. Well, the government agreed, and then the search was on for a stand of timber, a stand of old growth, virgin forest, named after him. And they settled on this 13,055 acre tract in Graham County, North Carolina, and Unicorn Mountains, where I'm sitting right now. And on July 30th, the date of his death in 1936, the Joyce Kilmer Memorial Forest came into existence, and it was open to the public for the first time. Dedicated in memory of Joyce Kilmer and the price he paid. And I'm just mighty glad. I'm mighty glad that they preserved this, and I'm mighty glad they gave him that namesake. He was a mighty fine fella. Your life can make a difference, folks, and how you live it, and how you conduct yourself and handle yourself. And again, I just thought this was a very interesting story. I love the way this came to be. I've walked these woods, I've looked at these trees, I've walked around here in Little Santilla Creek many a time, man. Walk back in here. It's gorgeous. If you ever get a chance to come. The camera actually shrinks the trees a little bit. They are humongous. Matter of fact, the second largest poplar in the United States of America and in Eastern America is up on Standing Indian Mountain over in Macon County, North Carolina. It's 28 foot around. But I hope you enjoyed this. I love the way this forest came to be. And folks, take your walk in the woods. Appreciate you. See you soon.